Hello my Frugal friends, welcome back to our place. It is the start of a new month, which means it is time to go and do our budget for the month ahead. So let's jump in and stuff those cash envelopes for June. Alright you guys, let's jump in and do June's cash envelopes and I'll run you through our budget for June. So for you guys that are new that haven't seen one of our cash stuffing budget videos before, just want to point out that we actually do a split budget, which means only some of our expenses are in cash with the cash envelopes, and then the other ones, things like utilities and our phones, internet, rent, all of that sort of good stuff does happen digitally, either with a direct debit payment or a BPay or being charged to our ATM card. So we run a split budget. Not everything is in cash. The categories that we choose to use cash for are the ones that for the most part are variable expenses and are ones that have multiple purchases throughout the month. And the best way for us to manage those is by using cash. That way we can really quickly see how much we've got left in each of these categories to spend, and it separates out our spending transactions. I'm not really good at tracking all of the transactions that happen on my card. So if there's a whole heap of different swipes and taps, I'm not great at going back through that and seeing how much I've spent out of each category, but by using cash envelopes for the things that we do have a lot of transactions for and that are variable, so things like groceries and fuel and items like that, I can set a budget and then I can see how much I've got left to spend in each category. So quickly, let's have a look at the things that we have chosen to fund this month, and then we'll go through and stuff our cash envelopes. So this month, all the regular things like all the housing costs, phones and internet, gas and electricity, all of these things happen in our bank account, and we have sinking funds for all of these, which means I don't pay necessarily each month, but I will put the money aside into a bank account, and then when we have a bill that is due, I will pay out of that. So our phones and internet, $30 a month for our phones, they're with Aldi, and $85 for the home internet. Gas and elec, we put $150 aside for. Our car maintenance sinking fund, we put aside $350. This one may change because we have sold our 2 old cars and we have downgraded just to 1 vehicle for our family, and it is a newer vehicle. So we're going to sit down and work out over the next couple of months how much it's costing us to have the Ranger on the road, and then we will adjust how much we put aside into our car maintenance sinking fund. So this covers everything from servicing and tyres to registration and insurance, everything that's got to do with the maintenance of the car, but not fuel. That comes out of a separate account. And any modifications that we want to do to our vehicle, because we like to do 4-wheel driving and we're going to set this car up to travel out of. Any of those modifications will come out of a separate savings account as well. So this is just to keep the car on the road, just maintenance. Our medical sinking fund, we put $100 a month aside to cover all of our medical expenses, prescriptions, doctor's visits, all of those sorts of things. And again, this goes into a separate sinking fund. And then if we need to purchase something out of that category, we will transfer the money over to our ATM card and then pay for it. Gifts and special occasions, things like birthdays and Christmases, anniversaries, all that jazz, we put $50 a month aside for that. And again, when we have an expense that comes out of that category, we transfer the money across to our ATM card and happy days. The last one that we've got, or last two I should say, miscellaneous, what I like to do every month is put aside $100 at least for miscellaneous expenses. These are things that are not covered by any of our other categories but might pop up throughout the month that we want to be able to cover. And by having a miscellaneous of $100 and also keeping a buffer of $100 in our account at all times means that if there is something that pops up that was unexpected or unaccounted for, we have the funds available to be able to pay for it, and it's not going to blow our budget off the rails, because we do have a little bit of slack in the line of our budget, and that is covered by our miscellaneous expenses and our buffer account. So, or the buffer in our account, I should say, sorry. So that is $100, and that will stay in our bank account. Now, sometimes we pull that out as cash, or sometimes I will do it as a split. I'll leave $50 in the bank and I'll pull $50 cash out. So this one is actually an envelope, but this month we're just going to leave it all in the bank, and if I need to pull the cash out, I can. I'm going to come back to our savings goal, because what I do is I work out all of the budget and then I work out how much we have left, our snowball, if you will, to go into savings. So I'm going to come back to that one at the end. Now, what we have decided not to fund this month is we're not putting anything aside for travel savings. We do have a really big goal for 2021, all things working in our favor, I guess, to travel Australia again. So we did do a little half lap in 2018 with our camper trailer and our 80 series Land Cruiser. We are saving at the moment to get into a caravan and do the lap again and go and see some places that we didn't get to on our little lap and travel a bit more indefinitely. So that is a big goal. So at the moment, we're not putting anything aside for any little savings, any savings aside for any little holidays or anything like that, because we are working towards our big goal, which is going to go into our savings goal. So nothing into travel savings, nothing into activities at the moment. I have some money already put aside, and we think that that's enough at this point. So I'm not going to fund activities this month, but some months I do, some months I don't, depending on the activities that we have. These are primarily for our daughter who is homeschooled. This is not schooling costs, but these are other activities like music lessons and sports and things like that. But at the moment we have a little bit in that account, and I don't need to add any more to it. So that's not happening this month. One. The other things that we haven't done for a while and we haven't missed, so we're opting again not to put any money aside for eating out, alcohol, or our date night. And this is because we do have our own personal spending money, which we will see later on coming up, and we can just use our splash cash if we want to eat out or buy alcohol. So we haven't specifically been funding those budget lines for a little while because our splash cash is covering it. And at the moment, working towards that big goal, like I said, sort of our focus really is on just making that happen. So we're not going to put any money aside for these guys this month as well. So our cash envelopes categories for this month, we will be putting $400 aside into groceries. Now I do have some leftover from last month. What I'm going to do is take any leftover money that we do have. This is going to go into my back to the bank envelope. So I will deposit these back into the bank during this month. This is savings from last month. And I am going to put $400 into our groceries, but I've already done one shop. So I have used $50 out of this. So I'm actually only going to put $350 aside out of our $400 because I've already done one shop this month already, and I used $50 and then some of the shrapnel to pay for the shop that I just did, which you can see in my last video, which was $66 and some change. So $350 for the rest of the month, and I'm trying to save as much of this as I can, and hopefully ending up with a little bit left over, like we did last time, that can go back to the bank. Next one up is fuel. Fuel is potentially going to change for us. Not really sure how much the Ranger is going to take as far as fuel economy goes. So I'm going to put another $150 aside for that, and we will see. I don't know if our fuel is going to go up or down with the new car going to one car. Not sure. We'll wait and see what happens, but $150 for fuel for the month, and we do live out of town, so if we want to go anywhere we have to travel. Family fun, I am going to put $70 aside for that. It is Shannon's birthday this month, so we've put a little bit aside to maybe, you know, do something, and I will take a little bit out of our gifts and special occasions allocation as well. But $70 for family fun. We can do whatever we want to do with this, really. It can cover things like eating out. It could be extra fuel if we wanted to go somewhere, or to pay for some sort of activity if that's what we wanted to do. But this is an open category, but we'll see. We don't really have a lot of plans at this stage because we are just waiting to see what happens with our current lockdown situation. Personal care. I actually think that I don't need to put anything aside for this month, because I have quite a bit building up in here, and that's probably enough. We use personal care to cover things like haircuts, but also to buy shampoo, conditioner, deodorant, those sorts of things. I have a bit of a build up in that one, so I'm actually not going to put anything in here this month. There is cash in there should we need to purchase anything from that category. Clothing got completely wiped out last month. That is all gone, but we did buy some new snow gear for Charlotte from the Aldi snow gear sale, and Shan got a new pair of runners, so that one's back to zero, but we'll just build this one up. And what we do with our clothing is we put $50 aside every month, and then if somebody needs something, then there's usually a bit of cash in there. So last month we used it all. We went to the Aldi snow sale and we bought Shannon some new runners, and then we'll just let it build up again. Nobody needs anything specifically this month, so this is one of those cash envelope categories. It's a bit more like a sinking fund, but $50 aside for that one. And we have our splash cash, which is our personal spending money. We both get $50 each, so my splash cash goes into my envelope. Shan's will just go into his wallet, and like I said, we can use this. This is our personal spending money, so whatever we want to do with it, we can use it however we like. So eating out, alcohol, bullet journaling, stickers, whatever takes your fancy. This is our personal spending money to be used at our own discretion, and what we found that works really well is just having a little bit that we can spend that is spontaneous, totally up to us, and the other person doesn't get to say anything about. So how I spend my splash cash and how Shan spends his splash cash is totally up to each of us. No judgment. It just is what it is, and it works really, really well. So that is all of our cash envelopes for this month. We are at the end of our budget, and we are able to put $500 aside into our savings goal. And like I said, we're still leaving $200 in the bank in our miscellaneous and in our buffer. So pretty happy about that. $500 aside, and there is $500 and some change going into our savings for our caravan. Well, that's it for our June budget. As always, thank you so much for spending a little bit of time here with me at our place. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, if you could please give it a thumbs up. I really do appreciate that. It lets me know the kind of content you guys are enjoying and what you would like to see more of. And if you would like to hang out a little bit more and you haven't already hit that subscribe button, I would really appreciate it if you could just tap that little red button down below. Don't forget to hit the bell symbol as well, because that is the best way to be notified when my new videos come out. Let me know in the comments what is coming up for you guys in June. I hope you guys are having a fantastic week, and I do hope to see you in my next video. Until then, take care. Bye.